Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Acts of the Blood God, an independent RPG podcast. I'm your host, Kat Bailey. I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Nadia Oxford.
Gee golly jeepers, Kat, it sure is a nice day.
Also joining me, my equally lovely co-host, Eric Van Allen.
We're excited to announce that Nadia is just losing ability to post. Nadia is not allowed to post anymore.
Posting restrictions. Sorry, Nadia. All privileges revoked.
We have 4 people in this company, and I am not allowed to do PR anymore.
You're being taken off the comms team.
Yeah. The social media privileges taken away from Nadia.
And joining us, it's Giant Bomb co-owner, Mike Minotti.
Hello. Gosh, that's still very weird to hear, but very cool.
Wow. How are you feeling to be owning your own media company? You're a media baron now.
Muzzle toe.
Yeah. I heard it's never been a better time to be that, right? Everybody's just going nutso for video game media websites.
Good time.
It's a great time. No, it's been fantastic. It's really just been a week since I found out. I was in Disney World last week when I got the call from them inviting me to become a part of the new independent Giant Bomb, and we had our first week of content, and that was a ton of fun. I think we're all feeling really good. We're all racing desperately to try to figure out if we can get Summer Game Fest and the Giant Bomb couch figured out. So there's still been a ton of work, and the business stuff now, like getting bank accounts figured out and things like that, all that fun stuff.
Payroll.
Yeah, payroll. Like, hey, we need to pay ourselves at some point. But it's been great. The support has been amazing. If you don't mind, I should probably plug. We are independent now, so we are supported entirely by our viewers and listeners at giantbomb.com/join, which is where people can sign up for premium subs, and that money is now going all directly to us. So that's what is going to keep the train running.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I remember when Acts of the Blood God went independent, we got our own Patreon, and we had some months to prepare and get things, and it still felt very touch and go because we were building so much from scratch. Yeah. With not a lot of support, so I can't even imagine going, okay, well, now we're independent. I guess we are running a business now.
Not only that, something Parrish revealed, Jeremy Parrish, is that he tried to buy, or he got people to buy 1UP for 7 figures, and they did not buy it. Like, dumbasses.
Because of the damn Twitter account.
Was that the reason? I didn't know that.
Yes. God.
Oh, God.
Good business decisions.
When I read that hurt me because I was
hurt me too.
Oh, yeah, I was huge 1UP guy. And that's where I started, really, was on the 1UP message boards and blogs that we had there. Yeah, I think we have that.
Is that how you met Grub?
It is how I met Grub first.
Grub. So we were all on the 1UP message boards and blogs at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was that. That was kind of a flashpoint, I think, for that one generation to the other one, really. 1UP was just incredible. They were doing, even before Giant Bomb, they were doing kind of the first big personality-based video game podcasts, and 1UP Yours, and I just worshipped that, and I thought all the people on that were the coolest people in the world. So they were so awesome, and I still geek out immensely whenever I see anybody from the 1UP days. I'm like, you're like a superstar. You should be living in a mansion on the moon. That's how cool you are. So being like in the orbit that kind of comes from all of that with awesome people like all of you, it's the coolest thing in the world.
Just so you know, we are launching a Moon Mansion Patreon tier.
Yes.
Really excited
coming
about
up
this.
soon. Yeah, this is a big one.
It's under the Nadia's Pits tier that I promised. No, I didn't promise anything. You sickos.
Moon Mansion tier. Well, we brought Mike on to talk about Giant Bomb, but also to talk about the future of Kingdom Hearts. There's a bunch of Kingdom Hearts news. We'll be going through that. We'll be talking about where the heck this series is going. Mike is a Disney guy. So, I mean, you literally said you're at Disney World when you found out the news? So it's very on brand for you. Before we get to that, if you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Did you know that you can get the show ad-free for $5 a month? You can also join our Discord. You can get bonus content. You get access to Charlie and Dropouts. And then there's more content at the higher levels above, including the Stars of Destiny and the Winterhold college tier. The Winterhold alumni tier. There you go.
We should rename some of those tiers someday. I'm just going to float that one out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was 5 years ago.
I like
then I would have to get new art.
Yeah.
But that's an excuse to get new art. New art's fun. Who doesn't love new art?
It's true. It's true. We are currently doing a side quest. We're reading a book, the 5th season. We did a book club yesterday. Eric got to join in for the first time. And he had a lot to say. And it was a really lively discussion. And he did an amazing job breaking it down. So it was a lot of fun. We're going to do this every week until we're done with the book, which is going to be in July. Mike, have you read the 5th season?
I have not. I have not read a lot of fiction or anything in general lately, so I'd be interested to hear about it.
It's pretty neat, actually. We're also doing a game club for Vagrant Story. That's going to be our Pantheon in June. Oh. And we recently did our side quest for Freerun. So that's just everything that we've been kind of doing recently. So lots of bonus content. We also have a newsletter. Subscribe to that over on bloodgodpod.com. We're actually going to have a bonus newsletter maybe today, the PAX Crawl. Eric, is that happening?
I think that's what we're calling it, the PAX Crawl, just kind of a collection of stuff we'll probably talk about a little bit on the pod today, but it'll go more in depth about just everything I saw at PAX that I can currently talk about. Some cool stuff in there if you want to hear some takes about Bravely Default on the Switch 2 via the Switch 2 dev kit, which was an experience in and of itself. We'll probably talk about that on the pod. And a bunch of other games like Off. I got to play Off. Off is pretty neat.
Off. That's the brand of mosquito spray that.
Yeah, they sprayed me down and were like Off, and I was like, that was a really weird game experience. I never played something like that before.
We do have merch, and it's over at shop.bloodgodpod.com. You can get this sick 10th anniversary shirt. Let's go.
That shirt. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got shirts, mugs, mouse pads. Thank you, Nina Matsumoto, for your help in putting that together. And Stars of Destiny get a 20% discount at all times. So go and check that out. And actually, on that note, I just want to say that we've been getting a lot of pledges and subscriptions, a lot of new faces over in the Patreon recently, over in the Discord recently, and we say thank you to all of you. It's been amazing to see so many new people over at especially on the Stars of Destiny tier. I'm just right now looking up a couple. Spencer, or sorry. I'm doing a bad job at this. We love you all.
Thank you for your support. It's pretty much the only way game journalism is going to survive in this day and age.
Absolutely.
You got to help each other out, man.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are kind of seeing that now, right? That this independent route, and people are gonna, have to show up. And I think we were always worried, like, would people show up to support independent games media and journalism? And it's nice to see that so far the answer seems to be yes.
Yeah, so thanks to Matt Lopez, who signed up to join the Stars of Destiny recently. Thanks to Brandon for editing their membership up to the Stars of Destiny tier. And thanks to folks like Joe Williams for signing up. It's amazing. It's really, really, we do this full time. So you're helping us keep the podcast.
I offer you this Gen 1 Dragonite keychain I have for some reason. I don't know where it's from. It has a dog tag attached to it. From 1999, apparently.
You hear Poe meowing behind me? He doesn't get fed if you don't sign up to this Patreon. That's just how that works. That's
the stakes are very high.
Yeah.
Folks.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that to Poe? Is that something you want to do to Poe? That's kind of messed up. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd kill a cat.
Yeah.
I love this. We had a pre-show where we were just sitting around goofing off. As we do with the Stars of Destiny, like Harvest Lunatic and everybody. And it's just great to see so many familiar faces. Okay, I think that's it for all of the housekeeping. Let's get to the main topic. What is the future of Kingdom Hearts? News broke this week that Square Enix has axed development for the mobile game Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, which apparently was announced 6 years ago, back when US Gamers still existed. It was going to be a mobile first slash, I believe, PC experience. Beta tests were happening for it in 2022, but like so many things with Kingdom Hearts, it was it just never happened. Mike, did you ever get a chance to play Kingdom Hearts Missing Link?
No, but I was looking at videos of it, and this thing seemed pretty fully realized. I mean, there was massive story content. There were action sequences that kind of just looked like Kingdom Hearts, and then there was the whole GPS aspect of it, where you kind of had the map of the world and, all that Pokemon Go stuff. So it seemed really ambitious, and again, relatively realized to be canceled this late in the game.
I think I get why, though. If anyone's playing a geolocation game and playing Pokemon Go, there has been so many attempts to do, like, even Hogwarts was a huge flop. I don't know how Monster Hunter's doing. The only one I can think of that's doing good at all is Dragon Quest Walk, which is not in North America. I would play it if it was. But yeah, I still play Pokemon Go, like, not every day, but I still spin stops, and, when some Team Instinct asshole thinks they can take my turf, I show them otherwise. But it's I could see why, because it's Pokemon, of course, is a huge franchise. It's probably the only one that's big enough to sustain a geolocation game at this point in time. Mm-hmm. Whereas, again, like, even Harry Potter wasn't able to take off, even Monster Hunter wasn't able to take off. I don't know if Kingdom Hearts is going to do it. Of course, it has its fans, but it's not exactly a humongo fan base the way Pokemon is.
Right. Kingdom Hearts has a very sizable, passionate fan base, but you need more than that for one of these kind of games where the whole world is supposed to be playing with each other. Like, in the kind of when they announced this, they sort of mentioned, like, we don't believe that we're going to be able to support a game like this. Really, it almost reminds me of Naughty Dog canceling Last of Us Factions. Yeah, a game that was also...
Oh, I forgot about that.
Right, and that game was like really far along, and I think the big problem there was you guys realize the resources it's going to take to support a live service game in, the 2020s, right? I think back when this game was greenlit, it was a different Square Enix, and now it's like, are we really going to promise that we're going to support this kind of game these days? Well, probably understanding that's not going to be a massive hit, it's not going to be a massive moneymaker. What are we doing here?
That's what I was
and a lot of developers don't want to work on a live service game because they're being attached to it. It's the sign from The Simpsons. Don't forget, you're here forever.
The newsletter this week was about free-to-play and what's going on with RPGs that are free-to-play. And it's not really a great landscape. I was looking up Square Enix's numbers, and to be honest, they have not had many mobile successes. Seems to be their strengths, if anything, are in, like, full games that were put onto the phone. Like, for God's sakes, please give me an update to Secret of Mana on the iPhone. It's brilliant. So I just want them to kind of this is me, like, I want them to concentrate on doing that, like bringing these full experiences to mobile and making them playable, versus they do not do well with live service. They have, again, one good live service game, maybe two. Brave Exvius, Final Fantasy does okay. Again, Dragon Quest Walk is very big in Asian territories, but otherwise, it's just, I was looking at their numbers, and it's all like half the games there were canceled or gone. It's just, maybe they're finally getting smart about it. Like, if you want to have an RPG, a free-to-play RPG, you're going to have to be a Hoyoverse game at this point. Getting into that niche is extremely... What's very interesting, though, is that when Genshin first took off, a friend of the show, Mike Williams, said it's going to be a matter of time before Final Fantasy does their own. And can you imagine Genshin Impact rolling for Final Fantasy characters? I'm there. I don't care how much it costs. I want Grahatia. But they didn't do that. They just kept doing these... Again, things like Kingdom Hearts Go, or whatever they had in mind for that. I think they're maybe stepping back or reevaluating at least what they're doing.
Well, that's something that I was going to point out earlier, was that this comes amid Square Enix saying we are trying to reboot. We are trying to reevaluate what our company goals are. There's a phrase they keep tossing out about quality over quantity. And they have had... they've tried to do the whole gotcha roll for characters thing in the past. They had it was Brave Exvius, and then I think there was another one alongside that was also
There
another Final
was.
Fantasy.
Remember All the Bravest?
All the Bravest.
That was,
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
that
all the
thing?
bravest.
And-
It's such trash.
ATV.
I mean, I know that Stuttering Craig is a fucking asshole, but it did a bit on that, which was so hilarious. You want Cloud? Fuck it. You get Shantoto. Who is that? For Final Fantasy 11. $1 gone.
It's really interesting to see it evolve, because you also, the geolocation stuff is so of a time, right? And we've seen in the single player, well, not single player, but in the console game space, how people kind of chasing trends have fallen behind the trends because they move so fast nowadays, and there can be some runway for that. But to your point, like, mobile games and what people expect from mobile games have evolved a lot in the time since Pokemon Go. So the attempt to do something like a geo-driven game, especially post-pandemic, it's a little curious. Are you going to go unlock the keyhole down at your like local gas station or something like that?
Yep.
And then
Wait a second, you're winning me over now.
Yeah,
Tell me
yeah,
more
yeah.
about
Yeah.
that.
The bathroom
Yeah.
is a keyhole. Oh, God. What horrors await?
Right.
Mike, what is your relationship to Kingdom Hearts, actually?
1 second. I gotta show you. I have a prop.
Uh-oh.
I'll explain it to you.
Uh-oh.
He has
A prop.
props.
We love
He has
props.
props.
Oh
I
my
think I know
gosh.
exactly what this
prop.
Yep.
Oh,
he
yeah,
has a
okay.
Keyblade.
He's got
I have
a
a
giant
Keyblade.
key, dude.
I want to hit someone with that.
That
so
is a
badly.
fancy Keyblade.
Thank you. It's actually my brother's. I'm holding on to it for him because he has kids now.
Did you get
so
it
they
from the
don't want-
Keyblade graveyard? Were you just passing through?
Oh,
No,
I'll
this
take
is
this
the
one.
Kingdom Key. This is much more important than that. This just
Oh,
shows
I'm
the
sorry,
people
I'm
who
sorry.
are worthy for it. I like Kingdom Hearts a lot. I've always liked video games. I like Final Fantasy a lot, and I'm also a big Disney fan. So back when they announced the first Kingdom Hearts, my take was, oh my god, they made a video game just for me. I don't know who else is going to care about all of this, but I love
A
Kingdom
lot of
Hearts
people,
1.
it turns out.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably still the game I was the most hyped for ever. It was the most excited I ever was for a single video game, and that really lived up to it. And the series has had some fumbles since then, but I still really do enjoy it. I still liked Kingdom Hearts 3 a lot, even despite its faults. And there are plenty of them, and there have been misdirections for the franchise for sure. But I get excited for Kingdom Hearts. I am excited for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Did you like Kingdom Hearts 3?
I did like Kingdom Hearts 3. It's fun. It was some cool world. That Monsters Inc. world was really cool. It was a good looking game. It definitely has some problems. There's too many kind of BS combat systems to the point where you're not actually swinging a Keyblade around very much because you push 2 buttons and it turns into a yo-yo, and then you summon a Ferris wheel or something, right? So
The
it's
ride
like, okay.
system felt like
too
the
much.
most misunderstanding of what makes Kingdom Hearts combat interesting, because they're like, wouldn't you love it if instead of doing all the cool drive stuff from Cage 2, you were just like on a roller coaster and doing a little rail shooter segment? It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm playing Kingdom Hearts. I want to play Kingdom Hearts.
Brought up something on Blue Sky the other day where when the whole Kingdom Hearts discussion was going on, and I was talking about like what I found kind of weird about Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm not a huge fan, but I do kind of know the story beats a little bit. And I found it kind of weird that like Sora and Goofy and Donald were watching Let It Go like voyeurs. It was kind of creepy. So I said, okay, I understand why Disney wants it that way. If they're gonna do it that way, can we have the wall? Can we have the animations with like Kingdom Hearts? Like, I think that would be great.
I do like the part where Let It Go is playing, and it's like in the really somber part, and it zooms in on Goofy, and it's just like really sad. There's something about him being like, the snow falls white on the mountain tonight. It's
Yeah,
so
right?
very funny. Like,
Good.
It looks like I'm the queen.
gosh.
Yeah, and there's still some of that stuff that I think is really neat, like seeing a Woody and Buzz team up attack with Sora. That's a callback to Toy
I love
Story
the
1 with
meme.
the rocket.
It did give
Oh,
you a
yeah,
name where he's
the
holding
Woody
pull
meme,
up.
yeah.
Let him
Yeah,
cook.
let him cook. Yeah, there's a lot of good memes from that one. And like that Pirates of the Caribbean world, they just put in a Black Flags thing to that, right?
Yes.
Like
That's cool.
Yeah, that was
surprisingly
pretty sick.
robust pirate ship combat. That open world Big Hero 6 section was really neat. The story has gone beyond getting away from them. It has become a problem, It's been getting worse. A big
Story's a problem.
Yeah, it's
Do you want the Final Fantasy characters back?
oh yeah, and they kind of brought them back in the DLC, which is not enough. But I want give me a Chrono Trigger world. Like let's go really deep in
Get
this
Clive
stuff.
in Final Fantasy
my
Kingdom
God.
Hearts 4 so that Ben Starr can be in it.
And then he's just
Exactly.
wearing his head off. Like that would be amazing.
Like it was so cool in Kingdom Hearts 2 when Auron was just a party member, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
Auron
Yeah.
interacting with Hercules characters, we definitely need more of that. But it was always convoluted. I think a big turning point for the worst was in Dream Drop Distance, the 3DS one, when on top of everything else, we introduced time travel to the soup, and that just made things even more convoluted. And I think a big problem for all these people who, between 2 and 3, thought they didn't have to go and play the PSP game, the DS game, the 3DS
Oh
game.
no, you got to. You got to play that
browser
PSP game.
Right, so
Oh,
I'll
the
just jump
browser
in.
game.
I play Kingdom Hearts 2. Here's Kingdom Hearts 3. Oops, I have no idea what is going on. And that's maybe another reason why Missing Link being canceled isn't a terrible thing, because you know it was going to have incredibly plot important details in there that only 1,000 people in the world would have actually seen and appreciated.
I like the ProZD bit where he runs in going,
gonna say,
Aqua got Norded.
Aqua got Norded.
Are you speaking English? I know those.
Those are words.
You smell
Those
pennies?
are
What's going
words,
on?
but
Even me, I caught up pretty well, but there was that one browser game, Kingdom Hearts Key. It's like the symbol
Kai.
for key.
Yeah.
Key, and then Uncanny Key was a browser game, then a mobile game. I was like, well, I'm not playing that one, and that's going to be okay. And then turns out, incredibly important to Kingdom Hearts 3, and actually incredibly important to Kingdom Hearts 4. Like, so much of the stuff happening in 4 started in this browser game that some people played, not me. They included a movie version of it in one of the compilations. Not really a movie that I want to watch. Cutscenes from a browser game. And yet, I just might have to. It's homework.
And yet. Well, there are YouTube compilations, I'm sure. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll figure a way out.
So Kingdom Hearts 4, that was announced in 2022, and we haven't seen really much of anything. There was an interview. We've seen a small amount of footage. We now know that Sora is in the real world, much like Homer. And Sora's looking for some erotic cakes.
It's in like the real world, but the fictional world or something like that. There's still like a Kingdom Hearts layer
it's
to
real
it.
but fictional, sure.
Yeah.
We got some new. So Square Enix promised that they were still hard at work on Kingdom Hearts 4, and we got some screenshots, one of which featured Mickey Mouse. That was kind of a big deal. So Kingdom Hearts 4 still going, and yet, while I'm sure that it will come out, it doesn't feel like it'll be coming out anytime soon, not the least because Tetsuya Nomura, who is one of the main creative drivers behind Kingdom Hearts, is very busy right now still with Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy, which is, I would say, much more full steam ahead, maybe, and will probably be out in the next couple of years, whereas Kingdom Hearts 4 almost feels a little backburnered.
Well, they gave us that collage, which I love, because that's like some real magazine era shit right there. Like, oh man,
Yeah, I know, right?
The
2000,
collage,
Yeah.
the collage didn't have a ton of new info. It had some new info on it, but
There's
like
a phone!
there's a phone. There's Mickey. People are going nuts over like another playable Mickey segment or something like that, where he looks like he's doing the
good.
P5 intro. So he's like, "The fuzz are on us!" Oh, like that's.
And Mickey gets his ass beat in a cell.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, I broke
I
Cat.
just
sorry.
hit this
Every
got a
day
hold
I'm
of
like,
him. Oh no.
Every day I'm like, where will Nadia yank the steering wheel of this podcast?
I just say things that pop in my mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like there's a ton of cool stuff that I like. There was one theory that was going around was that Sora's wearing like a really thick watch that almost looks like it could be a magic band, and I love the idea of Sora having
cool.
to get a magic band and like, you know, getting GD plus so he can lightning lane the rides and stuff.
And having to pay.
he still has to pay $50 for Rise of the Resistance,
As he
just
gets
like the
nickel
rest
and
of
dime.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. But even like, me, I'm looking at this and, that Mickey screenshot is cool. And he's in a library. And I'm like, oh, is that the Hollow Bastion library from Kingdom Hearts 1? Where, Aerith gave you Kuraga, I think, or something like that. I'm like, okay, something's going on here. I'm a little surprised because when they announced this game, they announced it much earlier than I was expecting. I didn't even know if we were going to have a Kingdom Hearts 4. They talked about Kingdom Hearts 3 so much as, the end of a saga. It's like, well, I'm sure there's going to be more Kingdom Hearts, but probably going to take a break. When it's come back, it's going to be a reboot. And no, here's just Kingdom Hearts 4 with Sora and company still. I was like, oh, this is all happening much faster than I thought. And then radio silence.
Yeah, I was surprised. I don't know how well Kingdom Hearts 3 did. I just know some people seem disappointed in it. I know Katie. She was really mad about it. That's all I remember about it.
Yeah.
It sold well still.
It sold well, and I think if you're looking at Square Enix through the lens of they want quality over quantity, then it makes a lot of sense for them to lean into not just established IP for themselves, but like that's got Disney in it still, right? Like that's got characters in it that can appeal to a different demographic than they might be getting with their other games, especially if Final Fantasy is going to keep going down the like dark, gritty, mature route and stuff like that. Then like having the more family friendly Kingdom Hearts over here is something that works, I don't want to call it a kids game because I don't want to get like annihilated on the internet this week, but it's an all audiences game. It's something that you can hand to the kids and they will have a good time with.
Lance Hart says nobody's talking about there being a Star Wars world anymore this time around. I don't know. You put Mickey in Andor, you get some.
There you go.
Thunder.
Sorry. It's still happening.
You get
there's one way out.
I was about to say Mickey and Andor. That's
Donald Duck giving the my heart is a sunless sea or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna find out how much
speech.
Goofy hates sand. It's gonna be great.
There is something about
I'm into
like
it.
Donald Duck in an X-wing, like getting shot from behind and doing that. That would really hit.
I thought we banned trying to do Donald Duck on this channel, on this show.
No,
because
we're
turns
bringing
out
it back.
bad.
We're bringing back.
We're bringing
Donald
it back,
Duck.
everyone.
Nadia can do Mickey and Eric can do Donald Duck and Goofy, seemingly. So
Eric
we
can do
got
better
pretty
Mickey
much
than
the
I
whole
can.
cast. Wow.
Yeah, happy to
Mike,
announce
what
we're
are
the
you-
voice cast for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Mike, what are your hopes and dreams for Kingdom Hearts 4?
I do think we are going to get like a Star Wars level. That very first trailer, it showed that section that looked a lot like the Moon of Endor. So I bet we do get that. I bet we get some kind of Marvel thing, probably Guardians of the Galaxy or something. But like my hopes, I want deep cuts back. That was the thing with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I get it, but they did a lot of the most obvious, safest levels there, right? Like Frozen, like Tangled. Kingdom Hearts 2, they were doing some deep cuts. Like you got Tron, back before Tron Legacy was even a thing. They did the Steamboat Mickey level, and that was cool. So, as like a big Disney guy, like Atlantis or Treasure Planet, two movies that didn't do that well back then, but now are
Treasure
revered.
Planet would be wild.
Yeah, and they're kind of called classics. Like, give me a little bit of that.
Atlantis
That'd
would be
be cool.
such a good world. Yeah.
Right.
That was a
Or
good
surprises.
movie.
Like I'm not expecting a Muppets level, but give me a great Gonzo summon, right? She shoots out of a
yeah.
cannon, he just starts doing things like that would be awesome. And beyond that, this one I doubt, but let's simplify things a little bit story wise, right? Like let's just have a simple goal. Like we have to get Sora back. He died or whatever, and now he's stuck in Tokyo, right? Okay, let's not make that more complicated. It's already decently complicated. We don't have to introduce time travel and the multiverse and like splitting souls and heartless who actually have hearts and then nobodies who don't have hearts. And it's all just kind of a mess. And I can keep up with it because I'm a psychopath, but most people can't.
Yeah, you do have to kind of like, going back to that Pro ZD skit, you have the one guy who's like, oh, this looks fun, it has Frozen, and then, oh, we got Norded. There is definitely, like, a difference there, and they probably should
There's a reason for that. So when Kingdom Hearts 3 came around, I actually interviewed Tetsuya Nomura about it. And one of my main takeaways was that he was a little over having to work with Disney as a company on all of the different IP. And he
Yeah,
said
I imagine.
specifically, it's easier when you're working on old properties because you get a lot more freedom. But when you're working with, say, Pixar or any franchise that currently has stuff coming out, they get really particular. I think he shouted out Monsters Inc. as one of them, just in terms of the monsters designs and all the style guides they had to go through, the layers of approval that they have to go through at Square Enix to approve one frickin' single piece of artwork. In that Nomura's pretty notorious for being extremely hands-on with it, and as time goes on, you can only expect the requirements around Disney's IP to get more and more complicated. Lucasfilm's another one that's notoriously very hands-on, very stingy about things. Can you imagine trying to put Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts 4? I mean, the layers of approvals would go around in circles forever. It's bureaucracy hell.
Even just the question of
just like the Empire in Andor. Sorry.
Yeah, but even the question of like what Star Wars do you put in? Do you still try to push like the current trilogy? Do you try to put in the prequels or the originals, or do you do like a different thing altogether? Because like Star Wars as it is pretty like the same thing with Marvel, where the idea of like, oh, people want Marvel and Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts. Okay, like what part of Marvel do you do? The Avengers? Do you do like a specific character? These entities are so huge and honestly like low-key a little bloated in and of themselves that like trying to pick a slice out is not as easy as saying like, oh, Tangled is in this one, or oh, Frozen.
Here's my prediction for Star Wars. It's going to be Mandalorian and Grogu, because then you don't have to get Pedro Pascal's likeness, because he's just going to wear a helmet the whole time. Then Grogu's just a puppet, right? So you can do that. They're popular. They're relevant. And you can put them in whatever planet you want. So it's still a piece.
You have Goofy picking up Grogu going,
yeah,
and it works out well.
Grogu becomes a Heartless. It's terrible. Yeah.
Oh my God.
With Kingdom Hearts, I wonder if it's like Square Enix, when they first did Kingdom Hearts, you know, Disney wasn't in the greatest spot. So they were just like, sure, use whatever, do whatever. But now it's like, if Square Enix approaches and says, okay, we want to do a Kingdom Hearts 4, does Disney say, okay, but you have to use this, and this? And if Square says, we want to use, I don't know, Steamboat Willie, and they say no, like, is this something Square has to subscribe to now? Like, how much say do they have, and like how and what franchises they can use, and how?
Yeah,
they have that anymore at all.
I kind of got the sense there was some of that in 3, like outside, but like maybe Square Enix was smart and just knew they should pitch a Frozen level. But I bet Disney was like, you're going to have a Frozen level, right? Because, you know, there's Frozen stuff. We're pitching,
and you're going to watch the whole song.
The whole song.
Because their niece didn't make you watch it 5 times.
That's right.
All right. Any further thoughts on the future of Kingdom Hearts, Mike?
Oh, gosh. And, you know, I'm a little worried that it's not as much of a reboot as I think maybe it almost should be, because there are so many people who just cannot keep up with the story anymore. And it's their own fault, because they made it so convoluted over so many different spin-offs and compilations. And, you know, the people online are doing their best making the YouTube videos and catching people up. But I do feel like maybe it was the time to be like, all right, no more Sora. Let's just reboot this thing, do something else with the idea.
Look, Kingdom Hearts 3 had how many endings?
Oh my gosh, so many false endings, and like by the end of it, there's 15 characters. 3 of them look like Sora. 5 of them are put into puppet bodies so that they're real boys and girls now, right? Right. I think they maybe didn't take the opportunity to start as much of a new leaf as they couldn't have. So if they are still gonna do this with Sora and everything, they gotta try to keep it simplified. And then on the combat side again, like, it's very cool that we have technology now so that you can summon Big Thunder Mountain into your fight, yes. But it's still an action RPG. People want to swing a Keyblade at people primarily. And if every once in a while you fill up a meter, and then you can do something cool for a little bit, that's nice. But it can't be every 3 seconds or so.
Like Karai do anything, apparently.
When I think back to the original Kingdom Hearts, the things that grabbed me were... the presentation was really strong. It was so cool seeing all of the Disney villains together versus Sora and his friends. I thought the soundtrack was excellent. little moments like Cloud walking into the arena in Hercules, and having him be having Sephiroth be a bonus fight. Really cool stuff. There's a lot to find in that game. So maybe those are all touch points, I suppose, that could really resonate with fans in a game like Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, and I replayed 1 and 2 not too long ago, and there is still something about those that holds up really well to me. Because, there is a little bit of a simplicity there. Kingdom Hearts 1 especially, I think that's aged really well. At time, the combat seemed kind of slow and floaty, and now it feels sort of deliberate in this world where Souls-likes and whatnot are very important. This game, we're dodging and actually parrying.
Make Kingdom Hearts 4 Souls-like. There you go.
Maybe
a little bit of that won't hurt.
The Sephiroth fights and stuff in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were all about like very tight timing windows and understanding how to deal with very specific attacks at a time when, Souls were not super prevalent yet. But I think to your point earlier, Mike, just having stuff like drive forms, having more of a focus on Sora as a character would help a lot, because I think that was something I missed a lot from KH2. KH3 felt like it was completely centered around rides and around a lot of the like spectacular attacks that you could do that were all just QTEs and not much more. But having things that change the way you play, because the combat system in Kingdom Hearts is pretty fun when you start digging into it, and there's really cool stuff you can do with adding abilities, changing the way your combo finishers lead into each other. How you play as Sora gets really interesting, and I didn't feel a lot of that in 3. But also I think like the modern landscape is going to help Kingdom Hearts. It's going to forcefully help Kingdom Hearts, because the other big problem with all the scattershot games was that they were all on different consoles. So if you wanted to keep up with Kingdom Hearts, you didn't just have to buy new games, you had to buy new consoles. You had to have a PSP and a DS and a 3DS and a PS2 and a PS3 and a PS4.
And a web browser.
Yeah, and a web browser. Yeah. And so I think the condensing of everything to what is probably going to ultimately be PC, consoles, and Switch 2, right? Like that's the map forward for anything that isn't mobile centric these days. I think that's going to help in the long run. That's going to keep Square from doing the sorts of like, we'll put a really story important game on the PS Vita 3 or whatever, and then it'll have a crazy name and nobody will know whether they have to play it or not, but it'll be super relevant later. Now it'll just hopefully all be in one stream on platforms that most people own.
Yeah, no Amico spinoffs this time.
Oh no, was there an Amico spinoff or going to be?
No, that's disgusting fantasy booking on my part.
Quite disgusting.
Two final thoughts. One is that both Disney and Square are in sort of a weird place on their own. I mean, Disney has been kind of financially troubled. I think there's been this widespread dissatisfaction with the actual parks and how expensive they are, which I think was captured in the video about the Star Wars hotel, which I think kind of spread out to kind of hit at all the ways that Disney parks have become very overpriced. I went this year and I was kind of aghast at how much money they were kind of shaking me down for. And then, of course, Disney Plus continues to lose money hand over fist, and you kind of wonder how long that can last. And there's a lot of kind of weird issues going on. Marvel is still kind of at sea. Star Wars just hit Andor, but that's still kind of at sea. So, and then Square Enix itself, I mean, they're refocusing, but it feels like every year the actual earnings come around and they go, well, it was kind of disappointing, actually.
Right.
And so you're asking yourself what's going to happen next with Square Enix. On the flip side, on a positive side, Sora still gets a real emotional reaction out of people. Kingdom Hearts still gets a real emotional reaction out of people. And I think about when Smash Brothers made its big final reveal and Sora came out and how crazy people went for that. So it really resonates. It's a series that still really resonates, I think.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4 definitely has a chance still make a good amount of money. And again, like, I think if it was a full reboot and it was a chance to bring in more new people, maybe that would have been even a bigger opportunity. But people are going to be very excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. And, even with all the faults Kingdom Hearts 3 did have, it did sell very well. I think it was the best-selling Kingdom Hearts. Now, maybe it's a case where sometimes the backlash hits the sequel more than it hits that game, right? So maybe Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to pay for the sins of Kingdom Hearts 3, but I don't think so. I bet when this game
for the
does come
sins
out,
of Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think,
right? We're all
of
going to
the
pay for
father.
those someday, right?
I think
go ahead.
I think Disney wants a Kingdom Hearts game more than Square Enix does.
Interesting.
I think they want a video game with a lot of Disney characters, especially in a world where Fortnite exists. And we were talking last week about how everything is a crossover now, and Kingdom Hearts is the original crossover game. So for Disney, they're like, yeah, make another one. Square Enix is like, okay, sure.
Remember that big investment that Disney did with Epic Games? Like Epic Games is making them a metaverse or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Reminds me of go ahead, Eric.
No, you finish your thought. My bad.
No, you finish your thought. You go.
Somebody do it or you're getting Norded!
That's not how you Nort. I know how Norting happens.
Quiet, you!
You can't fool me. No, there's I think the way you avoid the sins of Kingdom Hearts 3 falling on Kingdom Hearts 4 is you do what Square has already been doing, which is lean into the nostalgia. Kingdom Hearts, as it is right now on the Switch, you have to play it through the freaking cloud app, which nobody wants to do.
So bad. So
Release Switch 2 Kingdom Hearts collections that run natively on the Switch 2, so you don't have to deal with cloud. That's going to sell bonkers. It's going to do well. It's going to get people back into those games. Kingdom Hearts is a natural fit for a handheld console IMO, and that's because 358 over 2 days is one of the best Kingdom Hearts games. And
it's not.
Oh, it's
One of the
so
best
Oh my
stories
God.
in a Kingdom Hearts game.
One of the best
I-
titles.
I'm the sicko that also likes the gameplay. I'm
I
like,
did
yeah,
the
give me the
guides
Monster
for
Hunter missions.
358 over 2 days
That's your fault.
no.
for oneup.com.
That's your fault.
You did that to
Fun.
yourself.
I'm still traumatized. I was playing that game in Japanese.
Wow.
What am I doing to myself?
Incredible.
Okay, well, Kat was suffering for the bit, but for the rest of us that were enjoying Peak, 358 was great. But I genuinely, I think they need to put those collections on the Switch 2 in a way that will get people excited about those collections. Because right now, like, that would be a home run. That would be huge for, like, first year of the Switch 2. Here are all these Kingdom Hearts games. You can go play them. It'll get people re-excited about the series. Whereas, like, right now, if you tell somebody, oh, yeah, go play Kingdom Hearts, and they're like, oh, can I play it on my Switch? You're like, you shouldn't. Like, can you? Yes, definitively, objectively, you can play them on the Switch, but you shouldn't. Much like you can't make a car fly. Like, a car can go into the air for a certain amount of time. It will eventually come back down.
But like Dukes of Hazzard, you go over a
Exactly.
a ramp, and it'll come down.
Yeah, you're not flying. You're falling with style, to use a little Disney reference.
Hey, that's good. That's good. I like that. You're right. Yeah, those cloud versions are always so weird. Like Kingdom Hearts 3, sure. But like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are PlayStation 2 games. We can't get these going on the Switch. I know they've been remade in a different era, but they have to have that compilation on Switch 2. It almost should be day one, but it'll maybe be later than that because I'd buy those games yet again just to have them portably like that. It would be nice.
You can get them on Steam, I think. And I remember that when they came out, they were kind of a big deal, right?
Because they're on Epic Game Store only for a long time.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
That is very annoying.
And I will say this for Square, as much as we goof on them for releasing like Kingdom Hearts 2.8, Final Code Remaster Remix X Plus, with 5 minutes of new footage that is leaning into Kingdom Hearts 3,
Featuring Dante,
they did do a
Devil May
good job of compiling basically everything into a couple of fairly accessible collections, including Birth by Sleep and even Chain of Memories. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think the
Compilations
one
are
twos
great.
are good. Yeah.
Yeah, and like with Kingdom Hearts 1, at least I remember it was a case of they actually didn't have the original file, so it's actually like a remake in some weird way. They just kind of remade that game with the HD assets and everything, and it just plays really well. They updated all the music. Yeah, like we goof on some of those spin-offs, but yeah, Birth by Sleep is very good. Dream Drop Distance did some very questionable story decisions, but it's a cool game, and it has a Hunchback of Notre Dame.
They make Sora a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
That'd be a problem.
Exactly.
You reminded me the music of Kingdom Hearts, which is honestly like one of the reasons
Oh.
I show up in the first place. If we get
Yoko
Yoko
Shimomura.
Shimomura back on it, yeah, that's Hollow Bastion still
actually
goes hard. Oh man.
Just a very brief aside here. My husband and I stream every other week sometimes, and we just finished Mario RPG, the remake. And the ending theme, what she did with that was so good. The ending for that game actually made me cry because it did such a good job with it. But Happy Parade, or whatever it's called, like that's one of my favorite ending themes, aside from like To Faraway Times for Chrono Trigger. So good.
I remember
Yoko
just
Shimomura
listening.
soundtrack.
I remember just watching that Final Fantasy Versus 13 trailer over and over again because Yoko Shimomura had that song that eventually, she was the composer for Final Fantasy 15, and that work did happen there. But I would just
Which
listen to
she
that
did a great job with. I can't remember something. I can't remember the name of the song, but she did that waltz, which is just beautiful. I would do an Olympic routine to that waltz.
Yeah.
On Spotify, you can find a Video Games Live Kingdom Hearts suite that is fully orchestrated and arranged. It's really pretty. You should go listen to it.
The only good thing Tommy Tallarico ever did. That's what
I was gonna say.
Pico jokes, and now this. Look at this.
If that was a Tommy Tallarico, before the show started, I was saying how Tommy Tallarico came out at my production of Video Games Live and started playing his freaking guitar during One Winged Angel or something like. Shut up! I'm here to hear One Winged Angel.
Very proud. His mother is very
proud. God, if he might have even done it during Scars of Time. Which if you interrupt during Scars of Time, I don't care if it's your show. I'm bouncing you out the door.
You do not mess with Scars of Time. I mean, I remember that sample CD for pre-ordering Chrono Cross. I think we almost wore that thing out just listening to Scars of Time over and over again. It was the coolest thing in the world.
Thought I was gonna have to de-headphone for a second because I'm trying to. I've only played Chrono Trigger. We're going to play Chrono Cross on the stream potentially one day.
Not spoiling anything.
I don't know anything about Chrono Cross. I know nothing about Chrono Cross.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that the music is
the music
very
hits.
good.
The music hits.
The music is fantastic.
The soundtrack does hit.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, if you want more, go check out our Pantheon episode for Chrono Cross. But also, we have a lot more Kingdom Hearts content, including a 20th anniversary ranking that we did a little while ago. That's exclusive to our patrons as well. Coming up next, random encounters, and also Eric talks about heading over to PAX East and everything that he saw. And I'll talk a little bit about going to the Nintendo Store San Francisco opening. Don't go away. Okay, it's time now for a series of random encounters. Capcom has achieved profit for the 12th consecutive year thanks to Monster Hunter. Amazon renews Fallout for a third season. They also got a teaser showing New Vegas. It looks really cool in live action. I'm excited about that. Avowed has laid out its 2025 roadmap with a new game plus, photo map, and an arachnophobia mode. Blue Protocol is back, sort of. Bandai Namco shuttered MMORPG is back as Blue Protocol Star Resonance from Tencent-funded developer Bokura. Persona 5, The Phantom X, the mobile and PC spin-off game, will release globally on June 26. EA is pushing a return to office and largely phasing out remote roles, boo. Claire Obscure Director says the game on Switch 2 could be interesting. Apparently also he has a YouTube channel full of no damage Devil May Cry 5 runs.
Oh, he's a sicko, is he?
Which is pretty rad, actually. Grant Stoner over at IGN posted a very wide-ranging investigative report in which he accused of able gamers of abuse, financial mismanagement, and failure of leadership. Grant Stoner is one of the best journalists working in the business. I worked with him.
Been on it.
Yes.
When I was over at IGN, I worked with him very closely. His reporting on the accessibility community is incredible, and you should definitely go check it out.
It's a great.
Microsoft has cut 3% of its workforce, and its largest cuts since 2023. And we've got a ton of Magic and Final Fantasy spoilers. And Eric, I think were you in the actual reveal area when they were showing everything off at PAX East?
I could do you one better. I interviewed the 4 architects behind the set, like the 4 leads. You can check out that write-up over on But Why Though. But I basically got to talk with them about designing the games. I did ask specifically, so is only mainline Final Fantasies, so there is no 10-2 content in there. They said that they do like the idea of dress spheres, but that was not going to fit with what they were doing. So got a lot of cool info from them, just kind of behind the selection process, how they picked out what cards, what moments. And I think the commander deck list is really indicative of that, because you have some really cool ways that the commander deck list manages to capture the story of each game, specific moments, but also just what you are doing. The 10 deck list that is out there, which is one of the decks I pre-ordered.
They have a triple triad card and a sphere grid card.
Yeah, the sphere grid stuff is really cool, because when I talked to them about it, they were like, well, we like the idea of when you're on the sphere grid, you're moving nodes around and picking them up and kind of gaining power that way, right? And so they envisioned it in Magic as you move these counters around, your little +1/+1 counters around, and those give you different effects. They change the way that your cards act. Certain cards will get more powerful when they have like the right amount of counters on them and stuff like that. So it's an entire deck about moving these nodes around like you would with the sphere grid, and everything in it is built around that idea and that concept. And so there's some really thoughtful stuff being done to not just, I think going into it, I was worried it was just going to be Final Fantasy in aesthetic alone, that they were just going to have like all of the characters you would expect, all of the, you know, the clouds and the Aeriths and the Sephiroths, but it would just be Magic cards. You know, I'm flying with vigilance and a 5/5 with haste. That's actually a pretty good card I just invented, but yeah, that's a really goated card. But instead, I really love all the ways in which they thought of mechanics that could speak to Final Fantasy. I think the Saga creature, which is I believe a brand new mechanic for this set, is like a really cool example of that, of taking something that they've already done for Magic cards in the past and thinking about how that could be used to represent summons in Final Fantasy in a really cool way. So yeah, no, I'm very impressed by what they've done so far. I mean, I'm a card game sicko. We know this. Usually I'm more in the deck builder route, the Slay the Spire route and things like that, but I'm going to be playing some Magic this summer. I'm going to be investing in the cards and the very, very expensive cards that are out. I looked at how much a collector's booster box cost, and no.
Don't look at that.
No. That's... The worst part is, like, there's the Green Goblin mask talking to me like, you should do it. You should buy the box.
Buy the box, Eric. Go on. You don't need to eat. And do it. It's rent.
Do it.
You might draw
Mike, are
the
you a Magic player?
Only a little bit, but I'm very excited for this set. I like Final Fantasy a whole ton. I have the Final Fantasy VI Commander deck on pre-order, and that one just looks so cool. And
Me too.
So amazing.
Yeah, in Final Fantasy VI, like, that was really my first JRPG, was just renting that back in the day.
Yeah.
And having enough time to get to the opera house, but loving it so much that I rented it 3 more times and just kept doing that.
I gotta ask you a quick question, because we're in the same boat here. Were you like me and you rented Final Fantasy VI and you got to I got to like the floating, not even the floating continent. I got like to the maybe this Esper Cave actually. And so I said, well, I'm never going to finish this, but I'm going to check the first save file that someone else left for me, or just left before I rented the game. And everything's fucked. It's a world of ruin. The palettes are all different. And I'm like, even the airship is different. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And you're like, I got to find out what happened. So I got to buy this game. So
No, I
it
don't
sold
think
itself
I
to me.
did. I
it
should
screwed me
have, but
out.
I was too much of a coward. I think I saw those like 20-hour save files, and I was like, "That is an impressive
you see some
person."
shit, man.
And I
Yep.
can't touch this. I'm over here on my own, fighting Ultros, and that's good enough for me.
But they like name their character stuff like shithead and dumbass, and like
Right.
when my brother played Final Fantasy VI, he named Sabin Queef and Edgar like Spliff, so that kind of thing. Yeah,
I've always
rented
been
games are the best.
I don't know what this says about me. I've always been such a name purist. I'd never change the names. I'm like, the game says that this person's name is Barrett, and I'm going to respect that.
Well,
Respect
Barrett, you
it.
never changed Barrett's
And
name.
that's
the
why
first
I
time they
don't
found my
nickname
seven.
my Pokemon. That's why.
No, I've never. I
Oh, you
cringe at the
too.
thought.
I don't understand you. I'm sorry. Can I just tell you that in the original Pokemon anime, Richie named his Pokemon, and guess what? He was a much better trainer than Ash because he gave his Pokemon love. Also, he properly labeled all of his Pokeballs, and what a shock! Richie beat Ash in the tournament and probably became champion long before Ash did. So respect the naming conventions. That's all I have to say.
I did not know that was part of the Pokemon mythos, that whole convention about, like, if you name your Pokemon, it means you love them more. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
No,
he named his Charmander Zippo, which is a great name.
It does make zero
Zippo
sense
is a good name.
in the context of that world. It makes zero sense to not name the Pokemon. Like, this is Pikachu. What's his species? Pikachu. Here's my dog.
It's like naming your
my
cat. I mean, come on.
Oh, but
My
that's
aunt
kind of
had a cat named
adorable.
Puppy.
Come on, you go to somebody's house, they're like, "What's your cat's name?" Cat. Oh, look at the cat. Oh.
When that happens, I've seen that happen, but usually it's because, well, we let the baby name the animal, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Cat.
I like
Oh,
that.
hello, Po.
Should give it people names. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I want the Pikachu named Fred. You know?
I do like that.
I do. I named my Breloom Harold. I don't know why,
yeah.
but it just seemed like a funny name.
I like
It's like
that.
Harold.
Yeah, my dog's named Penny, which is kind of a people name, but it's also
Aw.
very much a dog name. No, it's not.
it's
'Cause
a
my mom named the
50-50.
dog.
It's like
And guess what?
Inspector Gadget.
No,
should name
I wish it
Brain.
was. I wish it was. My mom named her after the character from Big Bang Theory. So.
Oh, no.
That's
Dog
what I
canceled.
got.
I'm sorry.
I mean, my cats are named Percy and Toby, so I guess that's those are people names.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
I have
fancy
Toad
people
down here.
names. Cats should have fancy names. I get it.
I have a
Cats and dogs
Toothless.
do.
I have
Yeah.
a black cat named Toothless.
Well, it works well for them
Oh.
because they're a pair of orange boys who do not deserve that level of dignity. But
Aw, they don't deserve the dignity of
Wow.
a name.
Percival
Sound like
and Tobias, it's a good name.
Sound like the head of my college program. I'm not calling any of you by your names because you don't deserve it. Sir, we're in a college
Whoa.
program.
That is just epitome
That's-
of, like, some loser has power for the first time ever,
That's
and they're
crazy.
like, "I'm not gonna let people have names."
I fell out of love with academia of that day. It wasn't a good time.
They did with people what I do with Pokemon. That's crazy.
Yeah. Nadia said Toothless. I was at the new theme park, that Epic
Oh.
Universe there in
Yeah.
Florida. They have a whole How to Train Your Dragon section.
I need to
And
see.
you can meet Toothless. It's very cool. It also had a 90-minute wait, but it's very cool.
I would wait 6 hours to meet Toothless. It must have been
It's
worth it.
It's
Yeah.
worth it. Pickups there too. It's nice.
Nice.
So looking at the rest of the list that Eric saw at PAX East, I see that you played Bravely Default HD on Switch too, and
Yeah.
you were saying that was really good.
Yeah. So I have to
Is this your
own
first
up.
time with Bravely Default?
No,
by the way,
no, I have a story. I have to own up to myself.
he has a
So
story.
this recordings of this no longer exist on the internet for complicated reasons, but way back when I was just starting to dabble in the idea of talking about video games online, I had played about, let's say, 4 hours of Bravely Default, and I was like, I don't get this, man. I don't like this. It's just turn-based. You just go back and forth and you hit each other and somebody wins and it's all boring and bad. I was a simpler person back then. I did not have the breadth of understanding that I do now. I was much more like, yeah, I want to play Fallout where you shoot a gun and stuff like that. I have grown as a person. I have grown internally. My spirit is much more capable of understanding at this point in time. And so I am very intrigued by the idea of playing Bravely Default, because when I was playing it this time on... So they had a Switch 2 there. This was at PAX East. We got to go check out some stuff. Bravely Default was there. We could not see the Switch 2 dev kit. We were not allowed. There were restrictions, as one might expect.
You actually hold it or whatever.
I did get to hold the Joy-Cons in the grip, and then I did the mouse thing. So I played kind of let's say the first 15 minutes up to recruiting Agnes is her name.
Agnes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted to say Agnia because that sounds more like an RPG name, but it's just Agnes, like a old lady.
He's Lamb of God.
Yeah. So I got up to that and
Thank
kind
you,
of the
Dad.
boss fight that you do with her or with her and your party and all that. And I was like, this is great. This is very classic RPG. I love the look of the game. It looks really, really great. The whole like illustrated backgrounds with the characters running around on it. Looks fantastic. And then I played the mini games, which are the new part for the like the new content part, which are all kind of mini games that feel like they're built to be like tech demos for the mouse controls. So I watched someone play the airship section, and then I played the rhythm mini game, which was kind of like the if you played Persona Dancing All Night or the Hatsune Miku games, it's like that. I don't think I like the Switch 2 mouse as it is. And let me explain why. It feels so the thing about the Switch 2 Joy-Con, I have a prop here for this, much like Mike. You have like this is a Joy-Con 1 that I'm holding in my hand. Really, you're putting a slide on this and then turning it so it's sitting up like that and then setting it down and using it like a mouse. Right. This is not the most ergonomic thing for your hand. And so when you're trying to do like precise movements up and down and all around, and you're also trying to click the pieces of it, like you know, the what is this? The R is your left click and your ZR is the right click. It just feels a little awkward. And I could see how it wouldn't be bad if you're like playing Civ and you're just kind of like moving stuff around. But I think like doing the rhythm game made me realize that anything a little bit more intensive, even getting into the realm of say a first person shooter or something like that, might it felt good as far as the like response time to the screen and all that. I didn't feel like that was bad. It was just the like ergonomics of the actual Joy-Con. And so in my head I'm like, okay, so about 6 months from now, Hori or somebody is going to make the like thing that you slot your Joy-Con into that's like the Joy-Con mouse attachment, and that's going to be the way to actually use it because that's going to feel a lot better on the hand. So I look forward to that. But
that makes sense.
I think as far as Bravely Default goes, it looked great, ran great. It was Bravely Default. It was all that you kind of expect of that game. I think in a post-Octopath Traveler world, a lot more people are going to be very interested in checking that out because the Brave and Default system is very similar to the system that was used in Octopath Traveler. So I'm game for it. It also seems like the perfect game to arrive with the Switch 2 at launch. I believe, I'm double checking this right now, but I think it is a like budgeted title. I think it is less than full
it's a
price.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
It's not $80.
Yeah, it's not like $80, $90.
I think it's $49.99.
It is $40 on the Switch.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Which
I think it's in Canadian money.
it makes for a very good value proposition for somebody who is like, I have a Switch 2 and I've got Mario Kart and, you know, Donkey Kong is coming in a month, but I need something that's going to kind of tide me over a little bit meatier, you know, as Lands would ask for. But I think that and Deltarune are going to give you something that'll probably be substantial and something to, you know, tinker with in the wait between your big Switch games. It is a very smart play from Square. I think it's a wise choice. So
I'm always like kind of interested, like what's a system's first JRPG? Because usually it's something like Evolution on the Dreamcast, right? And it's kind of a little clunky and whatnot. But getting just this remaster of Bravely Default, that's a good way to go. I love Bravely Default. I thought that was such a cool game. I like Final Fantasy V a lot, and it just has that game's job system. Really cool characters here. Another fantastic soundtrack, super good music. Bravely Default, one of my favorite final boss fight themes in any RPG. I also loved Bravely Second, and then Bravely Default 2 I just did not care for some reason. I still don't really quite know why.
Really? Wow,
Yeah,
I loved that one. It was so good.
I don't know what it was with that one.
Interesting.
It's stupid, but like that one party member just being twice as tall as all the other ones always threw me. Like, why is this one so much taller? Are the other ones supposed to be children? I don't understand.
When it came out, I wasn't really expecting much, and it became I'm hanging out watching TV, grinding, and I did a surprising amount in that game. I loved the costumes and the interplay of the job system so much, and the boss battles were so fun in that one. They felt like puzzles. I love party building games where bosses feel like puzzles.
Yeah, I definitely like the combat in all those games. There's another part too, because Bravely Second was a direct sequel, and I liked those characters, and I liked still seeing what was going on. And Bravely Default 2, at least what I played, was completely separate. Maybe that threw me off as well. I might just have to give Bravely Default 2 another chance at some point.
Mike, you weren't at PAX East this year.
No, I was in Disney, so I missed it.
So you
Yeah.
missed the big panel.
I did miss that. They played a video clip of me anyways, at least, so they made me a part of it somehow, and I appreciate that.
It was a pretty amazing surprise, a very joyful surprise for PAX East. So, so great show all around. Another big thing that happened this week was I went to the Nintendo opened a new store in San Francisco, and it's on Union Square. As someone who's lived in San Francisco for 15 years now, it feels like kind of a big deal to me because let's just say that there's been a little bit of a retail blight around here for ever since the pandemic. So when they announced it originally, I thought, no way, they're actually opening a Nintendo store in San Francisco. God, you're going to have to put gates over the windows to keep people from throwing bricks through it or whatever.
Why do they throw bricks through Nintendo's windows?
To steal things.
Oh, okay. I thought they were making a statement like, I know that they're not.
Just only think of $80 Switch games. Yeah.
They would.
There has been kind of a shot. I don't want to overstate it because there's been a lot of bad actors who have been kind of overstating the shoplifting problem in San Francisco, but also there has been a shoplifting problem in San Francisco. But I did go. Have any of you ever been to the Nintendo store in New York City?
Oh,
I've been several times. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. This one's better, I think.
Oh, what's better? Is it
Ooh.
bigger?
Yeah. It's bigger. It's 2 floors. I think the New York City one is also 2 floors, but it's 2 floors. There's the main floor, and then you go downstairs. And the way that they designed it is they centered around various statues of characters. So there's the Mario statue and the Animal Crossing, Splatoon, Link. Metroid is one very solitary, sad kind of wall.
But they have Metroid stuff, though.
In a corner.
Because in New York, I don't think there was any, so I'll take
I never saw Metroid
They
stuff.
did have a water
comes and
bottle
goes.
and a shirt.
Ooh.
I'd take the water
Yeah.
bottle, frankly.
I have too many water
now
bottles. That's
damage.
like every PR thing's favorite thing to send us is water bottles, right? I have
I have
50
so
of
many
them.
water bottles. Like, I
Yeah.
gave one to my husband recently because I'm like,
Water
I just have
bottles,
many.
tote bags are hot right now.
Yeah.
I literally have a wall of tote bags over to my
I
left.
have
Those are all useful.
pile-
They used to give away notebooks. They used
I
to
have
give
so
away
many
branded notebooks. Yeah.
I have like 10 notebooks. Like, I have one for like Bookworm, if you remember that game.
I
That was
have
a
I
good
have this one from the Metaphor preview. I don't know if I ever showed this off.
Oh, wow. That's so
nice.
pretty.
Yeah.
It looks like the book from the game.
Yeah.
Oh
that
my
was fun.
gosh.
It also this is fun on the inside. Is signed by the developers.
Oh,
so that
that's
was
cool.
Oh, wow.
that was
I
a
like
neat
that.
little
Okay.
thing. So I'm
Jelly.
never
You
going
Never
to
got
write
one
in
of
this.
those.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What the heck?
They were like,
Look at
"Oh,
you.
you can take
Okay.
your notes for the play session in it." And I was like, "I'm not gonna write in this. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna put notes in here like, yeah, the turn-based combat's really interesting."
Since this is a prop episode, I did buy something.
Okay.
Did buy a Pikachu.
Oh.
Look at the little gentleman.
Is he like a little Japanese Pikachu?
I know.
Like he's
So this
kneeling?
is a Japanese exclusive wedding Pikachu.
Oh, I
and-
love him.
My friends in Sacramento actually, who are coming to dinner tonight, actually have the wedding Pikachu set that they bought in Tokyo. And so when I saw it, I was like,
Email in the mail?
oh, I gotta get that.
Aw,
They have
that's
some
cute.
Japanese exclusive merch there. They also have a whole wall where you can customize a Switch to an original Switch OLED and what kind of Joy-Cons you want, which I wish I had a couple years ago before the Switch 2 was going to come out.
Yeah.
Let's just say we got great investment right now. No.
They're selling the NSO controllers, like the NES, the SNES, and the N64, which are normally only online.
That's nice.
cool.
Yeah, 64
Yeah.
ones can sometimes be a pain to get, so that's cool.
I was like going, why San Francisco? Why not Los Angeles, where they have the theme park? Or why not Seattle, where they have a huge amount of history? And I guess the answer is just that they already have the amusement park there. So in a way, it's all like they already have a
Just
store.
spreading it out.
Yeah, they have
And-
merch stores there.
And Seattle is maybe not as touristy as San Francisco. So there's a real kind of, this is sort of centrally located. there's a very large Japanese history here. I mean, they're only about 10 minutes away by car from Japantown and that kind of thing. Like San Francisco still really resonates with Japanese folks. So
Yeah.
cool. I'm not complaining. It just means that every time I go into into San Francisco, I am going to stop at the San Francisco Nintendo store and probably spend some money.
Why not?
Don't
Do they
blame
still
you. They used to
have,
have good stuff.
do they still have the Disney store in San Francisco? I used to always visit that whenever I was in town for.
I don't think so.
Disney or anything. I thought it probably didn't survive the pandemic.
There was a time when there was this really cool PlayStation store in the Metreon.
Right, I
I've
heard
had
about
one of
that.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was still
Never
there
had
when I
those.
first moved here because I would go to the One Up office, which was not far away from the Metreon, and I would see the PlayStation store, and the PS3 was out at the time. And it makes me, and I follow this Instagram feed called like Bay Area Nostalgia or whatever, and sometimes it highlights the PlayStation store and specifically the PS2 launch, and I think, oh gosh, what a time to be alive.
Right.
Yeah.
You used to have all these wild bespoke stores. Remember the Warner Brothers stores? They'd have like a
Yeah.
giant statue
Oh.
of Bugs Bunny in a tuxedo outside of it. And
There were, for some reason, and I don't know why to this day, WB has never, at least not one, especially when I was a kid, just never had much of a presence in Canada. And I went to a WB store I was in DC on a trip, and it's like those things were legendary up here because you just couldn't find Warner Brothers merch. So I came back and I had a shirt. It was really cute. It was just like a red shirt with like a pocket, and he had Sylvester on the pocket, and like Tweety was pulling him out. But people were like, "Wow, where do I get a Warner Brothers? Like, where do I get a Bugs Bunny shirt?" Because they were thinking about it, and never really saw them very often. And say, "Well, you go to America, man." I got
that's
a
the
Marvin the
land of
Martian
Bugs
too.
Bunny, right?
Yeah.
That's wild because God, Looney Tunes was having such a moment in the '90s here.
It was
in those
extremely 90s.
stores.
Yeah.
For some reason, I heavily associate Free Willy with all of that because that was a Warner Bros. Property, and they just constantly had Free Willy 2 trailers playing on like the giant like TV,
Yeah.
like 3x3, like 4x3 TVs, making a giant screen. Wild times.
Radical Defect says, I'm literally playing Bugs Bunny Lost in Time as we speak.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, there were some games. There's like that sheep hunter one on PS1 that's not supposed to be bad. I saw that Daffy and Porky movie that came out like a month
saw that
ago.
too.
Oh, yeah.
It was cute. It was good. I liked it a lot.
I actually
We were
know when
covering
the
it at
end was on
IGN
that.
because Warner Brothers has been so awful toward Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you work for GameSpeed. We're in the middle of earnings season right now, and Warner Brothers, once again, Warner Brothers Games Division, just a complete basket case at the moment, reported another round of really bad earnings, which they're blaming on Suicide Squad, which came out like a year ago. But also, I'm sure there are other big games like Harry Potter dropping off at this point. And
Right, and they kept the DLC for
They
that or
closed
something.
multiverses. Like
that's what
Mortal
you get for
Kombat
being
has not
so
been doing
cynical.
well.
They're such a cynical company.
They're
Yeah.
so
They are.
cynical.
And with no vision. And so what's going to happen? I don't know. People don't necessarily respond to cynicism in the current environment. Look what happened to the MCU.
Oh,
No,
no.
that's exactly right. Yeah, Suicide Squad, just bad timing for that. I think we're all over the whole, like, haha, everything sucks. We're just going to joke about it and shoot people in the head. Like, yeah, that's okay. I'm already depressed, actually. I don't need that.
It was also
actually-
like a hero shooter too, which like I think you have to really nail it in some ways to make the sort of like looter hero shooter. I've been looking at Borderlands 4 and like that it honestly does look pretty good, but I'm going like, how does Borderlands set itself apart when so many games have done Borderlands at this point? When every game
I'm sure
is
it'll
kind
be
of
fine.
Borderlands.
I mean, Borderlands has an established following. I'm
the
sure.
It
normies,
does, like,
the
I-
normies do love Borderlands.
Normies
That-
love Borderlands.
We're putting that
You
on
know
the
what's
normie
funny?
list.
Claptrap. Borderlands is so funny. Sorry.
Yeah.
Memes.
Not to hate on its sense of humor. I'm kind of like, eh.
No.
Mike, somebody on Blue Sky said that I'm supposed to ask you about Expedition 33, so I'm asking you about Expedition 33. What's your take?
That's a very, very, very good video game. Is my
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
on it.
okay. I was like, he doesn't hate it, does he?
No, God, Paris.
Okay.
I would not allow myself to appear on here if I hate it. It'd be so embarrassing. No,
I was hearing about somebody who hates the soundtrack recently, and I was like, what?
How do you hate it? Then you hate music. I'm sorry. Go to a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're like a musician themselves, and they're like, I hate it to the point that I have to turn off the music.
When you have
like,
okay, here's something I have to say. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mike, because when people are like that, you ignore them. Because I had an instance like that where I was at a party, a work party. This was back when I was a dog groomer, and the woman who owned the salon was a real weirdo who allied herself with other weirdos. And one of the weirdos she was allied with was this guy who was a children's musician. And I'm like, I didn't know this guy, so I'm trying to make small talk. I'm like, yeah, I saw U2 recently. They're really good live. And he said, oh, they don't play their own instruments. They just lip sync up there. I'm like, this guy's a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I don't want to belittle the fact that you play children's music. That's very good. That's very valid. That's a great job. But this is U2, and they're not playing. What are you talking about, you moron?
So
right.
I used to think music was like the universal experience. It transcends language. It transcends, it appeals to the emotion of the human spirit, right? And then one of my roommates in college, we were talking one day, and I was like, "How do you not know?" Like, he didn't know who Aerosmith was, and I was like, "How do you not know who like, it wasn't even like, oh, I don't know like deep cuts of like Back in the Saddle and
they
stuff
have a
like
ride
that.
in Disney World.
Yeah, it's
Come
literally
on.
like he just
Revolution
didn't know
X.
Aerosmith, and I was like,
Music
"How do
is
you?"
the weapon, man.
He was like, "I don't like music," and I was like, "You mean you don't like rock music?" He's like, "No, I don't like music." And I was
I
like,
don't like
"What
any
the
music."
hell do you mean you
That's
don't?"
strange.
It's in silence in the car at all times.
So yes, he would often on car rides want to sit in silence, and someone else would have to grab the aux cord, and then he would listen to only techno music when he was like working on stuff, because he was like, it's just like it's a beat. It like is something in the background. It was his white noise, but it was used specifically for the purpose of like, oh, it's very consistent, and it's like consistent white noise. He was not.
Is this a robot?
Yes, I was like, dude, how are you living like this?
This gives me the adequate beeps and boops and a rhythmic formula.
It made me a little
My brain
concerned because I was
works.
like, I'm living with him, and now like I don't know if this is one of the flags for like serial killer or something like that, but it's not making me feel very secure.
Never heard
right
that
now.
one before.
It might
I was just
be.
saying before the show started that I've been like, watching a lot of true crime and criminal psychology, and I haven't heard anything about serial killers not liking music yet. Not like the symbiotes where it's like you play bells or something.
Right.
I don't think it's like that.
Yeah. I think serial killers love classical music is usually the stereotype, right?
That's what they usually like dissect too.
Yeah,
Bring out the lie.
I have bad news then. I have thoughts on classical music.
Oh no.
Oh no. It's a good
I
thing
like it
this
when
is
it's
a
paired
remote
with Bugs Bunny
podcast.
shenanigans, and I like classical music.
What's opera, Doc?
Looney Tunes was really responsible for exposing a lot of people to classical music. I really
Really
do
was.
respect that. Yeah. Barber of Seville and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I am the very model of a modern major general. Sorry.
And
That's not
Simpsons
Barbara
too.
Seville
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Simpsons did. Oh, right. Yeah. Cape Fear, that episode.
Oh, that was so good.
Yes.
That's such a
I
good
love
episode.
that episode. It's so good.
Stepping on
South
rakes.
Park has a lot of theater in it. Like, honestly, the soundtrack for the movie is brilliant.
I love musical theater.
I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
I
Oh
still
my
think
God.
about the Streetcar Named Desire musical way too often.
That was so good.
Oh,
You're
that
putting me
opening
through
song is-
hella. Yeah.
kind of a pop.
And when
Don't
she's-
make me yella.
And they made it a
Putting
happy
me
ending.
through.
Like when she's going away to the institution, and it's like she's like, I've always depended, and they're all singing, "You can always depend on the kindness of stranger," and she's going to be put
Yeah.
away.
Here's a tip for plants you won't forget. A stranger's just a friend you haven't met. Sorry, everybody. We did the thing that
Streetcar.
all millennial podcasts do. It's just become Simpsons quotes. at
We
the
were
end.
just talking about
Oh,
the
yeah.
soundtrack, though. Kat mentioned it last week because she said she used to mow the lawn to it.
It's all songs from Springfield. The Simpsons sing the blues. That song from Mr. Burns is actually a huge banger in that thing. It's so good.
But before we go, Mike, can I get your review of Expedition 33, please?
So I need to get back to it because I had the big break from the vacation, and then a little busy since I've been home. So maybe tonight I'm gonna finally jump in. So I'm like 8 hours in, but it is.
Okay, so you're not that far in then.
I'm not that far yet, but even still, already kind of a top tier banger. I am so in love with it, and I am so happy to see like another turn-based RPG like this succeeding. And I know some people roll their eyes that we have to kind of make all this about Final Fantasy and whatnot, but I'm like, boy, I sure hope that they're noticing and that they aren't so afraid or try to convince themselves that people won't buy turn-based RPGs anymore, because it's just not the case. People can get very excited for these games when they are done well, and this game is done just about as well as one of these games can be. It is so impressive.
Yeah, I went and wrote a take for Restart called Clear Obscure Expedition 33 is the Final Fantasy Square Enix has been trying to make for decades.
Yeah.
Which kind of hit at the feeling that it actually feels a lot like Final Fantasy 13, but in a more refined kind of way. But it also is tied a lot more closely to, sort of the JRPG roots of having an overworld and things like that. And it made me think a lot about how Final Fantasy in many ways has been running away from classical JRPG conventions toward more of a mainstream appeal, I guess you could say, whereas Expedition 33 is like, these things are neat.
Right.
And the heartfelt nature of it, I think, really resonates with people. And we were talking about Warner Brothers being super cynical. This is like the opposite of a cynical game.
Yeah, I think all these companies are so desperate. Again, line go up. We got to reach as many people as possible. So they think it's about simplifying things or just chasing trends. And if you just make a really good version of what you are good at or what people want. I mean, look at Baldur's Gate 3. There's nothing about that should be mainstream, that should have mass appeal, but it's just done really well. So people get excited and they want to play it, and it sells tens of millions of copies.
Well, people who love that kind of thing get really excited about it, and then that creates word of mouth, and people go, I hear this game, Baldur's Gate 3 or Expedition 33, are really, really good. And then they want to try it, and then they discover that actually turn-based games rule.
I think that is the secret sauce, and it sounds almost reductive to just say like, oh, just be a company that loves what you're making and do it. And granted, there are like economic reasons for why something, why Sandfall had a little bit more to work with, or Larian obviously built up years over years. We've talked about it dozens of times on this podcast, how Larian got there by slowly building up year over year with DOS and Divinity before
Sandfall's funding is really interesting, actually.
But I do think Clear Obscure stands out for me. And I wrote my own thing way back when, which was when people were being, I think, a little reductive with some of the Final Fantasy comparisons, just being like, just do that. And I was like, they can't just do like Final Fantasy has like, it does have expectations on it in that like
it has a lot of baggage.
Yeah, you got to have your chocobos, you got to have your Moogles, you got to have your summons, you got to like incorporate all this stuff. But also Final Fantasy has sales expectations, and there's almost a little bit more freedom when you're like, well, we're doing our first thing and we don't have like a previous game that we need to meet a metric for. We just want to try and go out there with a big bang. And I think that's what Clear Obscure is it feels confident, but also like a little bit, let's just put it all in a game. I'm also playing 100 Line right now, and 100 Line is a game that feels like a lot of people who are playing it and loving it are saying like, this feels like the studio knew this might be its last video game, and so they try to put everything into it. And there's something about when it's your first video game or it might be your last video game, you're really putting all of your arm into the swing, and you can see that in Clear Obscure, I think, and that's what makes it really exciting. It doesn't feel like it was made in a boardroom, in a lab. It doesn't feel like there was a cloud of buzzwords that they selected out where like, this is what Twitter has shown will be like an effective use of mechanics and stuff like that. It just feels like it's something that wants to do what it wants to do, and it nails that execution.
Yeah, well, it's what Sven Vinke said it during the Game Awards. Let developers make the games they want to play, and good things will happen generally. Yep. Let them cook. But yeah, I mean, the reality is that Expedition 33 never would have been greenlit at Square Enix, and I think the desire to chase trends can create kind of a blind spot where you just don't expect a game that really resonates with people to come along, and that's exactly what happened with Expedition 33.
I could actually see Square Enix making Expedition 33 or something similar to it. Like, this is a company that gave us Harvestella, after all. It's just a matter of would they promote it? would they say anyone it
Not
exists?
with the level of production value that you got in Expedition 33. They did put out Octopath Traveler 2, but
yes, I'm sitting over here like biting on the table. Like, if you enjoy Claire Obscure, I promise you will enjoy Octopath Traveler 2. Like, it is that game. It is
very
Octopath Traveler 2 is so good.
It's like, if there's a Blood God bingo sheet, is Octopath Traveler 2 mentioned one of the boxes? It has
it's
to
the
be,
free space, baby. It's the free space.
F14 is the free space, but yeah, it's in there.
There you go. God.
All right, that's it for the tavern. Nadia, take us home.
Well, since Mike is here and he likes Disney, I thought I'd reiterate my Dead Lizard story. It involves the only time I've been to Disney World, and you'll be very interested in this because I went to preview Epic Mickey 2, or the DS game, the 3DS game that came out.
The Power of Illusion. I like that game. I hold a torch for that game still. It's neat.
I actually had a great interview with the developer, and he was inspired by Suikoden 2. So we talked a lot about that because the castle idea came from the castle in Suikoden 2. But anyway, I am a strange person, and I pick up vibes in a strange way. So Disney is like the strangest place I've ever been to. I mean that in a good way, but also I noticed how, of course, everyone smiles, everyone's very nice, but there's something also weirdly genuine about it, because people who work at Disney generally want to be there. So they want to be part of this illusion. And I can kind of see the vision, the shimmering in the illusion. Like I was telling Chris Hoffman was with me, and I was telling him, man, this would be like the perfect setting for a post-apocalyptic like movie or anything. Anything post-apocalyptic in Disney World would be just fantastic. But this strange air, this act, was very evident when I was in my hotel room. I was actually at the Grand Floridian. Beautiful place, beautiful. Everyone was beautiful. Everyone's staff great. Everyone's friendly. But I kind of noticed that there's little lizards everywhere because it's Florida, right? And people have golf carts because they got to get, it's a big property and they got to get places. So inevitably, there's dead lizards, right? And quite a few of them. And I noticed that there's someone picking up these dead lizards very quickly. So you are not going to Disneyland to see dead lizards. He will not let you see a dead lizard at Disneyland. And I just love that so much. And the thing, my trip eventually ended up with a moment where I'm standing with Warren Spector alone on a rooftop in the pouring rain watching fireworks. He's a strange dude. I liked him, but like, there's actually a video of me somewhere out there where he's explaining something about the games or something about Disneyland, because he's real big into Disneyland. And you can see me, and I'm there, just kind of like with a stupid look on my face, and I'm dozing because it's so freaking hot. And I'm a Canadian who's just like, it's October. How is it allowed to be this hot? I don't understand. So you will find that video of me if you look. But I just wanted to kind of, I don't know, Disney's such a strange vibe, but the Dead Lizard Patrol will always stick out in my mind as the quintessential Disney moment. You will not see dead lizards on Disney's watch. No, sir, Bob.
There's a lot of people there doing very interesting work to keep, like you say, the illusion alive. It's an interesting story because my first video game preview ever was for the first Epic Mickey, and it was at Disneyland. And it was Warren Spector giving us a tour of Disneyland, and I made him ride Space Mountain with me, right? So that was just, so my first event is a free trip to Disneyland, and I'm me, and I'm suddenly riding Space Mountain with Warren Spector. And it was when the new Tron movie was coming out, so they had a Tron party that we got to go to. It was just this insane experience that I'm still kind of recovering from, just how incredible that was for me.
It's a strange life we lead.
I do need to know, does Warren Spector yell on the roller coaster? Or is he like a stoic roller coaster rider? Is he like a wee or an ah or like a?
I think it was a little bit of a whoop. Maybe kind of a whoop.
Dad.
Maybe perhaps
making dad noises.
I love the dad going, "Here we go!" like right at the top of the roller coaster hill.
I think I was talking his ear off about like how impressive the synchronized soundtrack for Space Mountain is, really. So that was
a fun ride.
Yeah,
I went on Space Mountain for the first time this year. It's pretty cool, actually.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, Really
It's fun.
neat.
Very
I
neat.
love dark roller coasters. There's one in Canada's Wonderland called Thunder Run. It's like kind of measly compared to Space Mountain, but it's really neat. I actually we were allowed to go to the park after and the interview and all of that, and so some friends and I went to go ride Space Mountain because I wanted to try it. And we're all standing in line, and this one friend of mine's like, "Oh yeah, I went to Disney. Like last time I was here, I was like a youth group with my church, right?" And I said, "Wow, the only trip my Jewish youth group went on was to the Holocaust Museum." He's like, it seems really depressed.
They did not have roller coasters there.
He gave me a passport for a dead woman.
You were not going to see Chewbacca there. Sorry.
There was an instance, though, where my relatives were featured on a calendar in the Holocaust Museum.
What?
Cool.
Yeah, because the Holocaust Museum has a gift store, ironically, and for a while, I think it was the year 2012, they sold a calendar. And the calendar has facts about the Holocaust, unfortunately, and there was a page about Raoul Wallenberg, who gave out fake passports and fake papers to Hungarian Jews, and my grandmother's family was saved by him. Her whole family, like they are maybe one of the biggest families to survive the Holocaust intact. So they got, I think it was December. They got December, and there's a picture of them, of my family, and this mentions Raoul Wallenberg and what he did and all that, and it's like, oh well, yeah, I didn't go on Space Mountain, but I got a calendar at the Holocaust Museum.
Cat,
That's
we gotta
pretty good.
punch out. We gotta end this.
Wow.
Nadia's yes-anding harder
Yeah.
than she's ever yes-anded
Speaking
before.
of roller coasters, that was quite a roller coaster.
Nothing
right
but blood
there.
God.
Eject,
kill Eric?
eject.
Yes, I killed Eric. I killed Kat and Eric today. Mike got a good show today.
I'm still alive.
Because you're kind of on the same spectrum as me, I think. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
And that's it for this week's episode of Axe of Blood God. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, if you enjoyed the show, please consider supporting us over on Patreon at patreon.com/bloodgodpod. Also, we record live every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe and like at twitch.tv/bloodgodpod. We had an amazing crowd here today, and we're continuing to try and build up the channel ahead of our big viewership drive in June, where we try to get to Twitch partners. So go and like and subscribe over at the Twitch channel. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations again on Giant Bomb going independent. Where can we find you?
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, giantbomb.com/join if you are considering supporting us at all. We appreciate it. And I will make sure that Giant Bomb is an RPG friendly place. We'll be doing some fun stuff with all of that over there. I am also still the managing editor of GamesBeat, so check out gamesbeat.com for all business-related things. And speaking of Disney, I do a Disney podcast with my brothers. It's called 90s Disney, 90S Disney. I'm going to do a full report on my recent Disney trip. They're recording that tomorrow. But we do all sorts of fun history dives and Disney movies and theme park stuff that happened specifically in the 90s. So check that out if you are inclined.
Hell yeah.
Very cool. We're heading into the Axe of the Blood God post show with our Stars of Destiny in just a few moments. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about watching Murderbot. We tend to vibe a little bit. It's a good time. So that'll be over in the Discord. In the meantime, I have been your host, Kat Bailey. Thank you so much for joining us. And for Nadia, Eric, Mike, and myself, thanks for listening and happy adventuring.